now. Uh, First, welcome to our, as you can see, the 7th edition of our annual conference on effective legislatures. This particular year is a special year for us at PRS. We have completed 9 years of our work. This is our 10th year. We started in 2000, so I'll just take a minute for some people who are not that familiar with our work to explain why we do what we do. We started in September 2005. We had a simple but a fairly ambitious objective. We had noticed that all our members of parliament have to pass legislation across a wide range of subjects. But there was absolutely no institutionalized research support that could enable them to evaluate what are the different issues involved in the different areas that they have to evaluate, see what are the what sort of compromises you have to make between conflicting interests, what are the consequences of different actions, etc. And given that the subjects range from one day education to another day possibly defense, then to health, and then to something like telecom, it's practically impossible for any human being to do that without any support. That was the idea. So we said, okay, what do other countries do? Most mature democracies have institutions which provide such support, which are typically housed within their legislatures. For example, the US has a Congressional Research Service. The UK has, within both houses, Commons and Lords, they have a research team. Canada has, Australia has, France has, Germany has. So we saw that most of them have that. But our parliament has an excellent library, but there is no system of providing research on legislation. So we thought, okay, what can we do about it? Easiest thing to do is possibly to fill the gap ourselves rather than get the system to move. So we said, okay, can we try doing that? That was the idea. What has happened over the last 9 years has been extremely exciting for us and interesting in many ways. We discovered that there was clearly a lot of latent demand for something like what we do. Just before the elections, so as the 15th Lok Sabha was winding up, we keep count of how many MPs reach out to us for research or come to our weekly seminars, etc. The number of touch points, number of MPs before the election had crossed 450 out of about 700 odd Lok Sabha plus Rajya Sabha. Of course, that number has dipped now because many of the Lok Sabha MPs of the 15th Lok Sabha are not there in the 16th Lok Sabha. But that was extremely encouraging that MPs across party lines were seeing that they need such research, and they were taking time off from various other activities to try to understand issues so that they can make an informed decision. So that was really encouraging. In fact, when we had just finished the first year, we had done a launch of a compendium of our reports, and Dr. Joshi was the chief guest at that function, so it's entirely appropriate that as we enter the 10th year, he is here with us. And one of the suggestions he had made that time, he had said that at least Parliament has some systems, why don't you do stuff at the state level? Of course, at that time, we didn't have the courage to go there. But over the last couple of years, we started reaching out to MLAs, and the response, though not as much as with MPs, has been positive, and we are planning to do more there. We have also tried to put out information to citizens with the idea that they should know what their elected representatives are doing in Parliament, so that there is a higher level of engagement and accountability between the electors and the elected. This election, we try to do an SMS service. So so the number is 92230511616. Some of you might want to try out. And if you send an SMS writing MP and space and PIN code, just try it out. You'll get back some information about her Lok Sabha MP. I mean, it depends upon who your Lok Sabha MP is, because it depends on your PIN code. Okay, now this has been interesting, but we needed the support of many, many people to be able to do this. The first set of people I need to thank is the Center for Policy Research. Pratap is not yet here, he said he would be coming in. They provided us the institutional base. We were there for the first 7 years, and that really made this possible. Lots of well-wishers, supporters, some of them here, both in research areas and in engaging, understanding issues, who have helped us throughout, including, I mean, Ajay here had given me an advice that as you're entering the 10th year, you need to get a new logo for the 10th year. So both our original logo and our new logo were designed pro bono by different friends. So we got lots of support there. Of course, my colleagues I have to thank, who have worked a lot about this. And key, you can't do any work unless you have some money to help us do the work. Lots of funders, lots of supporters. Over the last 2 years, we have managed to get many, many individuals who have been supporting our work. And nothing that we do is of any consequence at all. It will be completely useless if MPs and MLAs don't respond. So I have to thank them for having taken our work and given meaning to it and used it. As I said, this is the 7th year we are doing. I'll just explain why we do this particular conference. The idea was that there are many conferences that we have in Delhi, including many that I have attended. Very few of them focus on legislatures. Most of them are on various issues, and several are nowadays on governance, which are all talking about government, not about the legislature. So we thought, as a democracy, and that is really the one thing that as a country we need to be proud of. We need to strengthen the institution, the key institutions of democracy, which are parliament and state legislatures. And we need greater focus on how we can do this. What are the fault lines with these? Why are they not as effective as they ought to be? And can we do something about it? Can we at least raise some discussion about it so that people talk about it? So in the past few years, we have had various issues like legislature versus executive, who really runs the show. The anti-defection law, I'm sure that some of our speakers will talk about it today, which we have written about, saying that, I mean, in my opinion, it should not exist in a democracy. Parliamentary oversight over regulators, which, I mean, regulators like SEBI and IRDA and TRA, etc., who really oversees their functioning, areas like that. Key issue which keeps coming up when we talk about corruption in India, how are election campaigns financed, and what can be done about this? We have taken some of these. We thought this year, given that it's midway through the first year of a new Lok Sabha, let us bring back the focus on the 3 key roles that, as a representative body, Parliament is expected to function. 1, making laws for all of us. 2nd, extremely critical, keeping an oversight over the government's functioning. And 3rd, financial sanction, because really the budgets are only proposed by the government. Parliament is supposed to examine and decide what it ought to be, and later oversight of that. So we have requested 3 sitting and senior members of Parliament to speak on each of the issues. We will start with Dr. Murli Manohar Joshi, who is one of the most experienced MPs now. First came into Parliament in 1977, right, sir? 77, in the first Janata government period. Has been a member of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha at different times. Has been a minister, as everyone knows. Has chaired important committees in parliamentary departmental committees. Also chaired the PAC, Public Accounts Committee earlier. Now is the chairman of the Estimates Committee. So he would be really, in a way, the right person to see where, and this very obvious, Parliament's oversight over the government has not been as good as it ought to be. So where it has failed, and more importantly, can there be steps taken that can strengthen that trend? So after this, we will have, the other 2 speakers are Mr. Dipender Hooda. He should be coming in a bit. There is a Congress Parliamentary Party meeting in the morning, so he had to attend that. He said he'll come immediately after that. And we already have Mr. Dinesh Trivedi, who would be speaking on the financial part. Mr. Hooda will be speaking on the lawmaking part. So, Dr. Joshi and